Hello, and welcome to Chapter 5 of our Stranger Things Season 2 commentary. This one is entitled Dig Dug.
Dig dog,
Dig Dug, Dig Dug, Dig Dug.
dog dig.
Oh.
Anywho,
Anywho. And then we got Joyce on the phone again.
God damn it, Hopper!
Oh, what do we have here? Oh. Seriously, I really want to know who drew all that. Like, I know in the show it's Will, but like for the art department, like did they? Because the stuff actually has to like kind of look like it matches. So, and I'm wondering too, is it actually hand colored and drawn, or is it just like digital they did and kind of?
I kind of feel like they did it for sure by hand. I'm kind of thinking they must have gotten a huge area, like a warehouse or like a freaking gym or something, and just kind of mapped it out and then colored it, and then obviously messed them all up, and they probably numbered them on the back or something.
I was gonna say because it is done by hand, I guess.
Yeah.
They just hired a bunch of like elementary school kids, bunch of like first graders or whatever. I'm sure there's some child labor union law thing about that, but whatever.
Boy, you need a towel. Damn. I guess at least he put a shirt on for him coming over.
Hey, they have company over. Come on. Straighten out already. But it is interesting because once again, Will is at the epicenter of all of this. However, instead of Will being like at the epicenter because he's gone, he's here. But now in a weird way, he's kind of like
The problem.
Well, yeah. But
I say that in the nicest way possible.
But no, I was thinking like, okay, but now in a strange way they can. Well, it's weird because the whole thing was always like trying to find the Demogorgon, trying to lure it in, because it was like this elusive creature. Again, the Duff brothers even said that they were kind of they kind of were pulling heavily from Jaws, where because it was out in the ocean, you had this big predator that just kind of appear, do damage and then just disappear. Whereas that's how the Demogorgon was using the Upside Down. Essentially, it was kind of like its ocean. Whereas here, it's like this shadow monster. It's right there. It's in Will. But it's less about, like... it's more about influence. Like I said, this is more like cosmic horror, where it's less about literal, on-the-ground kind of, monster, and it's more about the power of influence. It's the power of its influence. It's more of an entity. That's why when you see it, it's not like it's there, but it's not like it's flesh and blood. The Demogorgon, you could shoot it, you could kill, you could hurt it. This thing it's an entity. It has a form, but its form is kind of formless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It takes kind of a very loose interpretation of a literal thing, but it in and of itself is really its influence. This shadow creature is influence in with intent, basically. And we're kind of seeing this here because this isn't the Upside Down. Because at first I was like, well, did he just fall into the Upside Down? Like, oh shit. But it's not really going into the Upside Down. It's the Upside Down going into our world.
Yeah.
It's like
from the ground up, literally.
Yeah. I mean, this is essentially kind of like you're not really in our world, but you're not really into the Upside Down. It's kind of this weird, in between right now. It's kind of showing you what kind of this thing
Ew.
is.
It's like a giant butthole. That's rough. That's what it's like when you fart next to me.
What? Seriously? Come on.
I died just like Hop here. It's okay. It happens both ways. Hey, I'm just saying.
Once upon a time,
telling it like it is.
These commentaries were classy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I'm saying so. It's kind of right now where. Oh.
I sleep.
Hopper is like, maybe if I play dead, it'll leave me alone. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's basically like kind of representing the situation as it stands now. We're kind of at a weird crossroads. Again, it's not the Upside Down, but it's very clearly our world slowly kind of ceasing to be our world and becoming the Upside Down. That's how this creature is going to take over. It's not going to, be like tearing people apart. Like, it will have agents for that later on, as we'll see. But
yeah,
it's more or less it's going to just essentially it's terraforming our world. It's turning our world into its dimension. It's pushing its dimension and by and large itself into our world, thereby making our world its world. So again, I like how it's less about a creature and more about a place taking over. The place is the monster
Yeah.
in this story, which is
Well,
again, it's
and
different.
again, they
It's
kind
cool.
of like, I guess they don't actually hint at it, but you can kind of tell over the course of the season that, like, especially at the end, like, it's like the Upside Down is kind of like, besides the shadow monster, it's almost like it's all alive. Obviously, you can see it.
Well, again,
just like how it covered that hole back
Yeah.
up, like it's constantly.
Well, that also explains why the portal, the breach, or whatever you want to call it, to the Upside Down, it looks organic. It doesn't look like this
Yeah.
glowy energy thing. It looks like it's a part of an organism as opposed to just a portal. But I kind of think that the Upside Down is the shadow monster, and the shadow monster.
Yeah.
I think kind of it's like.
It's like a manifestation.
Yeah,
of it.
that's why it has like this gaseous kind of like not flesh and blood form. I think the shadow monster is kind of like the Upside Down's avatar. Again, the
This
shadow.
lady.
I know. Right?
Man, guys are really awkward now.
So you want to do it? She's sleeping next to like the most harmless guy in the world. It is kind of sweet, like they kind of have this bond, and it's funny. They're kind of budding romance. It's very kind of like one of the reasons why I like it so much, and I don't find it kind of obnoxious or kind of forced. For it's like it very much grows from a place of friendship.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think like her and Steve were kind of they were together because hey they're both young, good look. I love this here how they're kind of like a little callback to the beginning. How for
Yeah.
them that's kind of like their little badge of honor. But I think for her and Steve, it was kind of like it was kind of your typical teenage thing. She's a cute girl, he's a good-looking guy. Okay, you can see why they're together. But these two right here, there's something deeper there. This is kind of like how love starts. I always say, if you're gonna love somebody or fall in love with someone, usually you're friends with them first because there's a bond there first. It's not just kind of superficial, like, hey, you're hot, I'm hot, let's do it kind of thing. So I don't know, I was kind of, and I like how they didn't just put it together at the end of season one. They let it build a little bit longer. It makes it more organic, more natural.
Yeah.
Because it's going to happen. Like I don't think when we saw the end of season one where she was still with Steve, I don't think we were thinking like, oh, that's it, never going to happen. I think we all knew it was coming, but it was just going to be one of those things where it happened organically. It wasn't going to be just, all right, let's put it together because that's what we want.
He's like, man, I really messed that one up.
Wah, 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 wah.
Jonathan Byer strikes out again.
Oh.
Don't worry, kid, you'll get yours.
Jesus. Wow. I think I had that dinosaur toy when I was a kid. That face.
Did you poop your pants? With the phone again.
There she is in her house with her phone, looking at some shit all over the place. She's got weird hobbies.
Oh, that's nice, sweetie.
Now, what's for breakfast? No, but it's kind of interesting too because again,
Oh, his mouth's on it.
yeah,
Oh no.
yeah.
Close it.
Jeez. But I like how it kind of goes. It's like a door that swings both ways. Yes, ooh, yep, get it out. But yeah, because it can see through him. But the flip side, he can see through it. So it's kind of
It's a lot like Harry Potter with Harry and Voldemort, because obviously, spoilers, but Harry was a Horcrux, so.
spoilers. Spoilers for that massive franchise.
Yes. Hey, I don't know. Someone somewhere hasn't gotten that far and will complain. Who
Well,
knows?
yeah, and now they won't watch it. But make sure you watch our commentaries.
Well, but yes, that's what it's like.
But yeah, again, it's a connection. So, and I like when we have stories like that because you have like the characters, then they realize that what they had first deemed as like a weakness can actually be played to as a strength. Because like, okay,
And Mike even said that to him. You're like a spy, so that means you
Well,
can
yeah.
spy on him. But then obviously Will's like, well, what if he spies back? We won't let that happen.
well, yeah, but again, by and large though, the shadow monster, the upside down, it's kind of it's taking kind of a calculated risk because yes, it's essentially kind of found a way to move through our world without literally being there yet. But in doing so, it now kind of gives us a window to it,
Yeah.
which is kind of unprecedented. Prior to that, you kind of had to go to the upside down. Now we can kind of observe the upside down in a weird way, where it's like we're kind of from like a relative distance. You know what I mean? Like,
God damn, Miss Butterworth.
God, you just cannot let that go, can you? I love this part right here. This whole conversation I love
I
so
know,
much.
right? So real.
Yeah. Right here. I love that poker face. She's never wrong. son.
He just felt his like ball shrink up into him.
It's like just sort of just pulled right up inside.
Oh,
Damn, girl. She's gonna.
look at her. She used up like the whole bottle.
Yeah.
She's got a problem.
Does that hurt you on the inside, being a native Vermonter?
Yeah.
Coming from the land of flowing streams of maple syrup.
Hey, man.
Hey, the way you talk about it.
So good. Poor
Aw.
girl.
Josie!
She's lost without that kitty cat.
This part, it's kind of cruel, but I can't help but laugh.
I know.
What he's doing here. Dustin is so devious.
Good thing that's not a loud phone. She'd hear that beeping tone.
I
too.
know. Back in the days when that would be a legitimate concern. Listen to him. God. Smooth operator. Look at him. He's just selling it too. Now give me a hug. Oh my God, look at him
I
go.
love you, but I kind of killed her. Indirectly.
Oh my God. Just runs that household. And now he's gonna get to work. I love how he's always ready to go. He's always like, I mean, both in this season and the last. Like,
He's the brains.
yeah, but he embraces all this shit. Like,
You.
no questions asked. Like, when all this shit gets real, he's just like, let's do it. Like, he's not like, he never takes a moment to think, oh my God, check him out. That boy is ready for war. But you know what I mean? Like, he's never like, oh my God, I can't believe it. He's just, it's like, okay, it's going down. Dart is now a weird dog, Demogorgon. Let's get this shit done.
I'm like, dude, you turned your back if he was there. God, how much bologna did you have?
A lot of bologna. Hey, some people like bologna.
It's only like 12 slices in a package.
Well, he might have multiple packages. And one of the things too, obviously the show's a bigger budget. So you heard, bigger effects. How they even said that before the visual effects were done by one guy in season one who was apparently working on his off time, and in this season, because now the show's a big hit and they have a budget, they had like an entire effects team. Mm-hmm. And one of the ways you can tell they're more competent with the visual effects that the CGI. Look at this is broad daylight.
Yeah.
The hardest visual effects to pull off digitally are broad daylight. That's why a lot of times films that have I'm not saying, oh my God, this is the best CGI ever, but for like a non-big budget theatrical, look at him right there.
Yeah.
A non-big budget theatrical release, this is pretty damn good. And you could tell the CGI on the Demogorgon season one probably wasn't the best, but they always hit it. Mm-hmm. There was always like low light, strobe light effect, the kind of
Jesus Christ.
Slap shot. Get that shit closed quick. But you know what I mean? And it's showing you, like, the fact that they can just have this thing out in broad day. Yeah, I know, right?
He doesn't sound very broken up about it. I guess he just did not like that cat.
I was always kind of worried when I saw this scene right here, like, oh my god, they're going to do the creepy truck driver thing.
Yeah.
Is she going to have to, like, start doing, psychic bitch slaps with the truck driver? It's one of the good ones, folks. I love that hairstyle on her. But here's the thing. I think they curl it because I've seen photos of her pre-season 1 when she was much younger, and she had like long straight hair. So I'm kind of wondering if they purposely kind of gave her the floofy hair.
I don't know. I mean, sometimes it just has to. I mean, they might have straightened it before. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just curious. She really does look like a young Sigourney Weaver. Like, look at Sigourney Weaver in Aliens from 1986. And then look at Millie Bobby Brown here, and like Millie Bobby Brown could like play like Ripley, the Wonder Years. This got to be so weird for her if you think about it. She's the concept of her having a mother and what that means now. Just hitting her like that, and like how we're seeing some return characters too from season 1, kind of the secondary characters. You'd buy the Thin Mint sub, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah.
Like, you can
Best cookies.
You can keep your Jesus, but I'll take the mint cookies, please. I don't like Thin Mints. I don't like mints.
Because you're terrible.
Well, yeah,
but it's more for me, so that's okay.
But yeah, so you see, it works out. Shit. Oh. Oh, well, this is awkward. Didn't know you existed. Love that beautiful 80s television resolution. Thank you. I'm going to keep pointing it over to my head because I'm just so proud of the show for doing it, because I keep saying it. Oh, so many other shows don't do it. Put some weird Photoshop filter over the screen. I'm like, that's not what it looked like back then. And again, this is all the stuff she was repeating. She was still saying that in season 1, correct?
Yeah.
And I like how now we're going to see what that means. And it's not just random. I mean, it's random, but it's not random.
I'm pretty sure it's the same thing.
Yeah. And it's kind of sad because you're going to kind of basically discover that she's essentially on a loop. And you're going to find out why she's kind of stuck. But what she's saying means something. And I like how they layered that in season 1, where when we kind of left off with her, we just kind of seemed like, well, she's a tragic character, she got messed up, and that's all she wrote. And you realize, no, she was laying the groundwork for something much larger coming up. And it's kind of cool that, they kind of had the foresight to, see ahead for the show.
Yeah, set it up.
Even though they weren't even sure they were going to get a season 2, because they had no... I mean, whenever something just blows up as big as it has, no one ever sees it coming. I mean, you always hope that the thing you work on will be successful. I mean, shameless plug moment real quick, but I'm still hoping my books, will become super successful. But, there's no way to predict it. And it seems interesting whenever something blows up as big as Stranger Things, it's never obvious. Like, no one would have thought that it would be something like this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whenever something blows up big, it's always something different from the thing that came before. So, but I did hear that they started actually writing season 2 before season 1 was even released. So,
this guy's so weird.
yeah, well.
Welcome to my lair.
The ultimate basement dweller. That's a sweet basement, though.
Yeah.
That basement is so much nicer than places we've lived in.
I know.
Like, that's not even a joke. That's just a sad truth of our lives, folks. You're welcome. Take stock in what you have. Well, when you say it like that. And it's kind of cool because I like how we're seeing kind of what an outsider who's not in on it, and how they're perceiving the events. And some of the stuff he
Yeah.
seems like he's got right, and some of the stuff he's gonna be way off. I love they're like, we're here to help you.
It's like, bitch, what you say?
Yeah. Recap. Now, this is an anime. This would be the recap episode.
No, no,
Stranger Things would make a great anime.
no, no.
Jeez.
Call her shitbird.
Shitbird. I don't know. I thought she's
It's
weird.
like the family tradition there, flipping each other off.
Little Mad Max reference there, folks. Right?
Yeah.
Word.
Which naturally, like, that just would be really creepy.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking that
I
too,
got
but
one
it,
in the
it leads
butt.
into a good plot moment. But I was kind of like, here's an older
Especially
guy.
with that guy.
Yeah, like, here, let me take you in the back to a locked room.
That says employees only.
Yeah.
Yikes. Gross.
So you're facilitating,
I
like,
know.
like, fucking what, middle school, like just like, Jesus Christ, dude, you're a creepy bastard.
Be creepy. You're the one that followed the creeper in here.
Killed.
I do feel kind of bad for Lucas though, because I'm like, she's gonna just think you're crazy.
Oh,
And
she
like,
kind of
oh,
does.
shit. Yeah.
Again, but it's almost like the initial, like, first step. It's like, okay, you have to kind of get through it.
Like, how do you even explain this?
Yeah. Again, seriously, this is the anime. This would be the recap episode where we're just seeing, like, clips from season 1.
Wrapping paper.
Yeah. This must have been such a fun set. It seems so true, but again, it just looks so playful and fun. And it's one of those things where I'm sure as, like, actors and whatnot, like, this is the kind of stuff you realistically dream about being a part of, because it's all make-believe and fantasy. Like, this is just so cool. Like, it's the kind of stuff we used to do as kids. We would, like, draw stuff, we'd make maps and, pretend that we're, go on adventures and things like that. And this whole series is basically kind of that for real. Like, let's say the kind of shit that, I mean, granted, yeah, I mean, I was a late 80s, 90s kid, so that's kind of what we did, you know what I mean? In the late 80s and early 90s, these are the kind of things we do. We draw, not to this extent, obviously, but we draw things and, like, oh, okay.
I love how she's got all the tape stuck to her coat. You see that?
Yeah. God, look what a great guy he is.
I know.
Oh my God, like, you just cannot not like Sean Astin. Like, he is literally, like, the best human being alive. Like,
I know.
and I don't even talk about the character he plays. I just mean Sean Astin. Like, if you're, like, see Sean Astin in interviews talking to this is Sean, he is this guy. Sean Astin is Bob. Like, I don't even think, like, when they decided to cast him, I think they just erased all his lines and just put in the script, show up.
Yeah.
Like, Sean, this is going to be the scene, and we want you to react as you would. Except everyone's going to call you Bob instead of Sean. Good? All right, go. And action.
He's like, huh.
I love his face here. Like, the fuck is this? Oh, that's, look at, yeah. Word. Look at his eyes.
I know.
Like, maybe I've made a mistake. Wait for it.
Oh.
It's funny because he was in the Goonies. Remember?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Oh yeah.
No, I love that. And that's obviously something they added later on in the script when he was cast.
I know.
I love that. Just a little moment. It's like, oh, it's pirate treasure. I'm like, oh, it warms my heart.
I'm offended.
Bob, yours is not to understand. Yours is to be adorable. I love that's his problem. It's not like, oh, it's like, I need to understand the game because I want to play. And right away, there he goes. Get it, Bob. Get it.
All right.
Love it. Oh, it's great.
Just follow it natural, you know. No
Yeah,
big
you
deal.
know. It's funny too. They talked about it and said how much they just fell in love with Sean Astin. Like they said, like he's such a great, he's a lot of fun, and he's such a. From what I understand, he's such a team player. Like he's game for anything. Mm-hmm. Like he's one of those actors where you say, "Hey, would you mind doing this?" And he's just like, "Oh yeah, no problem." He just goes for it. Interestingly enough, Keanu Reeves is another actor like that, where they're just like, like we want to throw you into the side of a building as hard as we possibly can for no reason. Are you good for that? Yeah, let's do it.
Sure. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Oh.
My loafers. I guess they're not really loafers. They kind of look like it, though.
I ripped off my sleeves not for any tactical purpose, but just to make me look more badass
No,
in the scene.
he was using it as a bandana, but he took it off.
I know. As bandana, which is a badass garment.
Yeah.
It's like, how can I make myself more of a badass? I know, I'm going to rip off my
All
sleeves
the
and
dead
make it a
things.
bandana.
Doesn't that... Oh, I love how that one's... Well, I don't love it, but it's creepy how it's fucking moving.
But yeah, it's like the upside down. Again, that's basically what it's death to our world. Essentially, it just consumes our world. It just it's the antithesis to us, basically. One world cannot exist while the other persists. So it's essentially a battle of worlds. That's what I like. It's like our worlds are literally battling each other.
Yeah.
And we're kind of like the soldiers of our world. It's a really cool idea. And again, it's so Lovecraftian. It's very... You guys are going to hear me talk about Lovecraft a lot, folks, for this season.
Ew.
But they even admitted, too, that they pulled a lot from Lovecraft, which, like I said, if you're familiar with the writing, this is all, very Lovecraftian. So,
Yeah.
if you guys haven't read it before, I would highly recommend reading his stuff.
Poor Dustin.
Poor Dustin is just a one man, like, I got shit to do and I got shit to get done.
She is so sassy. I love her so much.
Damn. I once had a friend when I was, a young little lad, and he had the bitchiest little sister like that. I fucking hated her so much. And then I saw her get hit by a car.
What?
Not hard, I just tapped her, but,
Just a little love tap?
it literally, like, stopped and tapped her, and she just kind of fell off the side of her bike. So she was completely fine. It wasn't like I just slammed into her, but let me tell you something. She was being particularly bitchy that day. Then I saw that happen, and I'm just like, maybe I'm going to become a Buddhist because, karma.
Jesus.
And I like kind of like this little, this little backwards because it's weird because now, like, the aunt, I guess. That's the thing, too. Now, she's not just meeting her mom. She's meeting her aunt. She's meeting, like, kind of her blood family. And she's realizing that there was this whole life that was denied to her. You know what I mean? Like, how much different her life would have been had she not been taken by,
Look at that
by
wood panel
Papa.
toaster in the background.
Again, just the weight of all of this, because it's not just her finding her mom, it's her coming to terms with the concept of what it means for her to have a mother, and
Yeah.
and not even just that, but the idea of what her life could have been. Because for better or for worse, before, that's all she knew was the lab, and so she's like, well, that was my life. But to realize that she could have literally, like, when she looks at like Mike and all the other guys, how quote unquote normal they are, that could have been her. She could have had a life like that.
God, those creepy ass clown things in the background. Yikes. Oh God, and on the wheel thing.
It's called the mobile.
Mobile.
But at the same time, she also realizes that now it was like a path.
Yeah.
She got taken down once, so this is kind of like it's kind of like when you go see like a game show and you have to pick behind which door to see what's your prize, and you open the door, oh, you win a jet ski, and then they kind of show you what the other ones would have been, and you realize that those could have been yours, but now they'll never be yours. And I kind of feel that for her, this is what seeing all this is.
A life she'll never know.
Exactly. It's not like, oh, now that she's here, she can just jump into that. And I don't think in her mind that she was ever planning. I think for her, it's just kind of reconciling a past. Oh, and I love this part right here. Little callback to season 1. So you think. Now she's kind of realizing that actually maybe not. Maybe this is someone actually trying to say something. But who? Yep.
I can't take too much of this.
And I like now you kind of realize the implication when they say your mom's gone. It's like, well, they're not wrong, but it's almost like the body that we're seeing now is more like a shell. Yep. So again, it's one of those things where it's almost like she's like a spirit. Like she's a disembodied, like her consciousness is like separate from her body. So in a weird way, when the mom say, "Oh, it's haunted," in a weird way, the house is kind of haunted. I kind of get a sense that her mother's consciousness is kind of like free roaming now.
Yeah.
And the body is just kind of like the hardware that's just kind of stuck, like in a kind of difference between hardware and software, basically. So, which is almost kind of really sad, because that kind of means that basically she's just in kind of this roaming in kind of psychic limbo, basically.
Yeah.
Which is really sad. Look at him go.
I know.
I love it too because he feels like a big kid. He feels kind of like one of the kids and they're all figuring stuff out. Look how happy he was, like, yay, I did something.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. My favorite part of this whole season is coming up right.
I feel like it's everyone's favorite.
Yeah, when this moment happens, it's coming up. I just died, and Dustin instantly became my spirit animal.
Yep. Best kid.
Yeah, and like in that moment, I felt like I jumped back in time into 1984, into Dustin's body, and I just spoke to him because it was such a me moment. It's coming. I'm just already laughing. Wait for it. Wait for it. What the hell is he saying? But it's not yet. really
best.
disrespect. Like, son of a bitch. And I liked the way he said it too. He's just so over it. Like, Dustin's
Yeah.
just so fucking just fed up with all this shit. He's like, God
To
damn
be
it.
fair with what he's dealing with.
I know, but I just love it.
And I also really love this whole part coming up with these two.
Yep. Oh yeah, these two become the unlikely dynamic duo. But I like how it's not like the older kid guy. It's like Dustin is basically just leading him along. At this point, Steve is like a lost puppy. But you know what I
It's
mean?
like, oh, I guess we're going somewhere. Huh?
Well, it's like Steve at this point in time in the story feels like he's without purpose. Nancy was kind of his whole connection to all of it, and now she's basically run off. So he just kind of feels like lost now. And essentially, Dustin gives him purpose. Dustin gives him focus, and in doing so, Steve becomes a really, really central and really, really cool character. I've always loved him as a character, but he basically has a role now.
Basically, he's got like the best character arc in this entire series.
Yeah,
from
he
season
really,
1 and
really
2.
does. Which is funny because when you think that all he was supposed to be was like
Douchey boyfriend.
yeah, basically what Captain Mullet in this season is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's really all he was supposed to be.
Oh,
But they loved his
no.
character. Yeah, I know so much they just let him be more. But that's why this season we have. No.
It's rough. This is just like one of my Japanese animes.
Oh yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Hopper, get out.
Well, we all know what happens next.
Yeah. Oh no.
There it goes.
Jesus. Now that you put that in my head, I'll never view that scene. That yell now will always mean something so much different and way horrible. I love that's like a criticism of what Stranger Things is. It's a little derivative, you know.
Did it work? What did you expect?
I like that. It's a very realistic response on her part because it's like if someone
Yeah.
had just dropped all that on you, your first thought would not be like,
At
oh,
least
clearly
she let him
that's true.
finish, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean. Wow. Poor guy. He's not giving up though. Look at him. It's like, oh. I know, and again, I just. But the funny thing is, she starts to believe that he believes this, but I like how she's still herself not
Yeah.
sold. Well, I mean, she's gonna get a really big, shock, up close in person to find out all this shit is real. But still, it's. Again, I'm still curious to see why he hates him. So again, is it because it's him, or could it literally have just been anyone?
I think it could have been anyone.
Again, I think it's more or less he wants to have control over her and does not want her to have friends.
Well, that's, again, I think it's just a control issue.
Yeah. Oh my god, he's wearing a red shirt. He's the Red Ranger.
You guys are working real hard right there.
I know. Again, I like how this whole thing plays out. It's going to lead into... Because obviously they want to, like, you know, expose the lab and everything.
Look at his face.
I know.
He's just like, God damn it.
But I like how he reacts to this, what he's going to say, basically, his take on it.
Give me that tape. It's like, man, I've been working so hard on this.
I know, but again, he does a really cool, like, metaphor coming up here, which when I first saw this, I was like, what the fuck are we watching? But then he actually, if you follow it, it actually is very, very clever. Shaken, not stirred. I want vodka. We have vodka. We have Grey Goose. I might have some Grey Goose after this. We have music as well. Now I want music. I want vodka and music. But yeah, obviously it's like his... The funny thing is, he thought he had this very kind of in his mind...
Jesus, that
this,
poster.
Yeah, I know. But in his thing in his mind, he probably thought he was uncovering this big truth and what he had imagined in his mind to be, only to find out that what he thought was going on was way simpler than what was actually going on. Yep, exactly. Yeah. And that was my thing. It's like, who would believe it?
Yeah.
And you just saw that with Max. So like, tell them. And I
She's
think,
a kid.
but I think that's why that scene happened right before this one. Because okay, we told somebody, and what's their reaction? Bullshit.
Yeah.
Because things like that don't exist. That kind of stuff isn't real. And that's the problem. Is that like, and I think that's why these government. That's one of the biggest kind of like defense the government would have in a situation like this. It's like, even if someone this got out, even if someone leaked it and told somebody about this, who the hell would believe any of this? Exactly. But again, the core question is: do you want to expose the truth, or do you want to burn them? Because if you want to get them, it really doesn't matter what you get them with, as long as they get got. And I like how this is how he kind of changes the narrative here. He's basically going to kind of explain, like, it's not about telling them people what happened. It's about telling people something that will make them turn on, the government, this agency. And I like how that's kind of the whole metaphor. He's watering down the vodka.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there you go. Yep. And again, and it's genius because if you get like I said, you always see people that's exposed, but unless you have like video of like the portal or monsters, no one would believe that. But like I said, what is the objective here? The objective is not really to tell the world that the underground, the upside down exists. The goal of this is to stop these people that they feel are essentially getting away with murder, that are getting away with doing these terrible things. So, it's kind of like if you're trying to catch a murderer, and you can't pin the murder you want to pin on them, but you can pin a different one on them. What does it matter if they get caught and go to jail? All you want is them to be put away. That's what you're looking for. Who cares why they get put away? And that's basically what he's telling them is like, listen, this may be the truth, but no one's going to believe it. So, but if all you're trying to do is to stop these guys, who cares why they get stopped? As long as they get stopped. So give people a more, digestible scenario, narrative, and that's all that matters. I like this shot. That's cool how he does that.
What's that, some magic dirt?
But again, I like how it's showing you that, the physical makeup of the Upside Down is conscious, it's sentient. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's not just inanimate stuff. It's alive, which becomes a very important clue into how to fight it.
I don't really get why she had to cut it. But that's just me. Could have just folded it.
Hey, she's trying to be proactive here. Nope.
Stop talking.
Eleven is new nonsense.
Oh, get ready for sadness.
Yeah, but it's interesting though.
I know.
Again, you don't realize how much of an important character she actually is when you first see her in season 1. Because she's kind of just a little like, that was tragic, that happened. Anyway, back to our story. But you realize, no. She was a very, very key narrative element. That again, like I said, I love how they sprinkle that in early on.
Yeah.
And it comes into play, the following season in a very, very big way. There's a payoff to her character. That's very sad, but very, very kind of crucial to kind of Eleven's self-discovery. Yep.
Oh.
Ooh. I like how the view is bouncing back and forth there between the mom and her aunt, And I like how they're doing the flashback super spec. Because I hate when they see it's just like a memory of a character, but it's always like a third party shot. That's gonna be so weird. You're seeing yourself being born.
Yeah.
That is. Oh shit. Again, this is all done so well. It's also weird seeing that actress and alert. It's I like how he's like the boogeyman.
Yeah.
Ooh. And then you realize now just how much she tried. Eleven is kind of realizing that, she had a mom, and she had a mom that was
Trying.
Yeah, which makes what happened to her, yes, all the more tragic, but also all the more cruel, too. And you realize what kind of horrible people these were.
You can eat shit.
Okay, that's fine, but I gotta... Oh! Again, it'll show you the lengths on which a mother will go, for her child. And again, it really shows you that she was a... Oh, there's the rainbow. I don't know if you guys can notice they were mumbling in...
Who's that?
I know. And then who's that? I love that music. Or that, not really music, but the sound. Ooh. Basically just scrambled her brain. Which is almost worse than killing her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it would almost have been more merciful if they just shot her.
Yeah.
But basically, he essentially trapped her in her own mind. He basically locked her in a shell.
In a loop, in a shell.
Yeah, and she's forced to kind of relive kind of the... kind of the worst of her life, so to speak. Kind of her... Basically, she's forced to relive her failure. her failed attempt over and over again. So they basically condemned her to like a living hell, which makes Papa's character just even more evil. He's not even here, and yet he's now his evil has been amplified. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now, after seeing this, if you go back and rewatch season 1, when you see him, you hate him even more now because just my God, he's kind of the worst monster in all of this. I like how they call that too, the now memories.
Yikes! Wow.
Did you see Sean Astin's face there?
Are they not wearing seatbelts?
Listen,
no one's wearing seatbelts.
Not all cars had seatbelts once upon a time. I don't even think.
Yeah, there's a seatbelt right there.
But a lot of old cars, they had seatbelts in the front but not the back.
'Cause fuck the children.
Well, hey, it was a rough time, man. There were no plastic playgrounds, no.
Those are some big earthworms.
Some serious night crawlers.
Gross.
Ooh, oh.
Nasty.
You got a little on. Look at it. Look at her Joyce go. Joyce is not having it. I just want to just get a picture of Joyce's face with underneath is the hashtag not having it.
I know, right?
That's just.
She's like, oh no.
She's just going for it too.
I know.
I'm pretty sure this is ad-lib, they said too, that Sean Astin just said that.
Yeah.
And I love right away he makes the connection too. Like he figures it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long story.
I love how Bob just had a flashlight, by the way.
Bob comes prepared. Bob works at Radio Shack.
I know. He won't just break his cigarettes and throw away for nothing.
I know. That man's addicted. He would not let that shit go willingly.
Oh, shit.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. What do we do?
I know, and right now we're at a point in the story too where we're still not sure where the government guys stand because we've seen enough to point to both ways where they could be maybe good and they could be bad. We don't know. How bad would that be if that was just as hard?
I know. I mean, you can kind of see the rest of him, but yeah, I was thinking that too. At least it didn't go in his mouth. Or any other holes. Or
Hands!
like, give me that knife.
And just give Hopper the knife. Hopper will take care of it.
It's like, I need to take out my anger.
Look at him. He's like, argh! He's just... No, look at me. This is not what people who are arcade
Bob's
look like.
just like, hey, Jim. That's the,
Get that, had it. Little indie moment there.
I know. Oh, boy, here we go.
Oh, okay, right here. His performance here is insane.
Yeah, it's kind of terrifying.
I've never seen like this kind of yell.
I'm sure it was like his face too looks.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Look at that.
Like obviously the scream is enhanced.
Well, they enhance it, yeah, but
like,
look at him. Jesus Christ! Wow. You okay?
No, I don't think so.
Well, but anyway, guys, what a cliffhanger. But yeah, that's gonna do us for this one. Join us again on the next chapter. chapter 6. Peace.
Peace.